So Trump has been canceling a lot of interviews lately. He was supposed to go on CNBC. He canceled that. There were two others he was supposed to do that he dipped out of 60 Minutes and then one other. So people are starting to be like, are we looking at a Biden-like situation here where his brain's just not functioning all that well anymore? And the answer is probably yes. Because then when he does events, they're weird. Like the other day he did a town hall. He took 3 questions and he turned it into a concert and sat there and bobbed around while a bunch of songs played for 30 minutes. Very bizarre. So he also sat down for an interview with Bloomberg News, which you're about to see pieces of here. And look, this Bloomberg News guy, I'm not a fan because he's clearly very, very conservative, but he's like old school type conservative. So like, you know, small government, I'm against debt and running up deficits, and you know, I'm in favor of free trade, like all that sort of stuff. Did I say I'm in favor of debt and deficits? I'm against raising the debt and the deficit. So there were a couple moments during this interview. Trump was like fighting with him the entire time, but there are a couple moments that are just absolutely golden in terms of how far gone dude is. So let's start with this one. Ready?
Should Google be broken up?
I just haven't gotten over something the Justice Department did yesterday, where Virginia cleaned up its voter rolls and got rid of thousands and thousands of bad votes, and the Justice Department sued them that they should be allowed to put those bad votes and illegal votes back in and let the people vote. So I haven't gotten over that. A lot of people have seen that. They can't even believe it.
The question is about Google, President Trump.
Should Google be broken up? I haven't gotten over the Justice Department with the illegal votes. The illegal votes. It's unbelievable what's happening. You hate to see it. Bro, the question was about Google. Like, okay, am I crazy for thinking he might not even know like what antitrust is? Am I crazy? Like it seems like he doesn't, right? It seems like he doesn't. Now, again, you go watch the whole thing and they're fighting virtually the entire time, but he certainly doesn't have a grasp. If he knows what antitrust is and like what monopoly power is and shit like that, he certainly doesn't have a grasp on, you know, what the purpose is of breaking up something like Google. And in fact, he goes on to say, like I don't know, that seems like it'd be unfair. Like they made it and it's unfair. Oh, okay, sure. So all the talk about like, bro, we're against big tech and big business and we're going to make sure we make it fair and small business, bro, that's where it's at. All that's just total horseshit. They're cucked to big corporations. That's the bottom line. All right. So now we get to the part where he crumbles in real time and starts yelling about the guy being wrong and the Wall Street Journal being wrong and Bloomberg being wrong and everything's wrong. Here we go.
She came out, she just said, the Green New Scam. She just named all these things.
But President Trump, the issue, the markets are looking at the fact you are making all these promises. Latest one was car loans. You're flooding the thing with giving giveaways.
But we're going to grow.
I was actually quite kind to you. I use 7 trillion. The upper estimate is 15 trillion. People like the Wall Street Journal, who's hardly a communist organization,
yeah, but you don't know.
They have criticized you on this as well. You are running up enormous debts.
What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way. You've been wrong about
You're trying to turn this. You're trying to turn.
Look at his body language where his arms are crossed like a toddler. Here we go.
You've been wrong about
You're trying to turn this. You're trying to turn this.
You've been wrong about
You're trying to turn this into debate. There are business people.
But you're wrong. You've been wrong. You've been wrong all your life on this stuff.
So let's be clear. The thing that he's accusing this guy of being wrong about is that Trump's plans would like massively add to the debt. And the guy's like, it's not like there's independent analyses done of the things you're proposing. And those independent analyses say not only are you going to add more to the debt, it's like way more than what Kamala Harris would add to the debt. Because look, you can't like, if you massively cut taxes for the wealthy and for corporations and, you know, you engage in classic Republican policies. That's the thing is like they pretend like they're against the debt going up and the deficit going up, but then they massively cut taxes and on the wealthy and then don't cut spending. And like, what do you think is going to happen? It's math. That's what's going to happen, right? And Trump tries to get out by saying, we're going to grow. Growth is going to be amazing. It's going to more than make ever. We're just going to grow. We're going to grow. But again, it's not like they don't factor in growth into the analyses that they do. And so it's an objective fact that when Trump was president, he ran up the deficit and the debt. And the guy saying it's going to happen again based on the things you say you're in favor of. And he's like, you're wrong. You're wrong about everything. You're wrong. You're just wrong. Wall Street Journal's wrong. Bloomberg News is wrong. You're wrong. You've been wrong about everything. And it's like, you're not even giving a logical, coherent rebuttal as to why you think it's not the case, right? All he does, you don't see it in this clip, but he goes on to just be like, growth, you're not factoring in the growth. And it's like, they did factor in the growth. You're still going to add massively. And he's like, you're wrong. It's like, he doesn't... It's so lazy. It's so lazy. He's not even trying. And that's all he has is like berating the dude after he's called out. And again, to be clear, I'm not a conservative. I'm not on board with debt fear-mongering and deficit fear-mongering. Sometimes it's the right thing to have the government be the spender of last resort and have the deficit go up and have the national debt go up. Sometimes it's the right thing. So I don't even agree with this guy ideologically, but his point is it's a fact. You did increase the debt and you're going to increase it more. He's like, you're wrong. You're just wrong. Trump, when he ran in 2016, said he would like balance the budget within his first term or something like that. Okay, that didn't happen. Like, what do you want me to say? You said it. You were fucking wrong. Probably lied about it, knowing it was a lie. And then here you are again, just berating the guy. All right, but now we get to the big one. Yet again, he's going to be asked for the 900th time about the peaceful transfer of power. Let's see how that goes.
If you look at the events of January the 6th, 2021, it showed to many people America's democracy was unruly and violent. Only 3 weeks to go to the election. Will you commit now to respecting and encouraging a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, you had a peaceful transfer of power.
You had a peaceful transfer of power. You had a peaceful... Come on, President Trump. You had a peaceful transfer of power compared with Venezuela, but it was by far the worst transfer of power for a long time.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because this is what they like to do. This is what they like to do.
I mean, it's just so fucking dishonest, right? It's so weaselly. It's so dishonest. It's unbelievable. Like, you did fake elector slates, your words, not mine. They weren't even alternate slates. They were fake elector slates. You did that. You know you did that. You called it that. You told people behind the scenes you knew you lost. You were calling, after January 6th and the riot and the violence, he was still calling senators and congresspeople saying, don't certify the election. And I was like, oh, it was peaceful. You were dragged to it kicking and screaming. You exhausted every legal avenue. Then you tried illegal avenues, and it just failed. But that doesn't mean, there was a peaceful transfer. No, you tried everything to make sure there wasn't that. And now you're lying about it.
Question, President Trump, is would you respect the decision?
When I found out about this interview, I did a little check. He's a man that has not been a big Trump fan over the years.
Wow, look at that. He doesn't answer the question, even though he asked it twice. Would you respect a peaceful transfer of power? And he dodges. This guy's very anti-Trump. Interesting, you didn't answer the question. I wonder why you didn't answer the question, and you've never answered it, even though you've been asked 1,000 times. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be because you're planning on, if you lose, doing the exact same thing you did last time and denying that you lost? That's exactly what's going to happen.
So I had a choice. Do I do this interview or not? I'm glad I did it. But do I do this interview or do I disappoint a lot of people? Because I know a lot of people in the audience. But his view is very different than mine. Let me just say,
I'm asking
March,
you, Professor.
We had a term, peacefully and patriotically. These were people. If you think an election is crooked, and I do, 100%, if you think... The day it comes when you can't protest, you take a look at the Democrats. They protested 2016. They're still protesting it.
The idea that he compares 2016 to 2020, oh my God. Again, that's so dishonest. He knows that's dishonest. Hillary conceded the next day. The next day. There were no court cases. There were no fake elector slates. Even though she won the popular vote by 3 million. God, oh my God, I'm losing it. Y'all.
Nobody talks about them. But if we protest, we want to have honest elections. You think the last election was honest?
Yes.
Well, no, do you think it was honest?
All the times it went to courts, the courts...
No, it didn't go. They went to court, and the courts all said, you don't have standing.
Right. And that's a strike against you, that your cases were so fucking frivolous and ridiculous, you didn't even have standing. And by the way, when they actually got to court, Giuliani and the rest of them were like, we're not accusing fraud in the election. Oh, interesting, then. What the fuck are we even doing in here?
And it's hard, frankly, after an election for a judge. But they all said nobody ever had standing. But the facts, if you take a look, I'd show you hundreds of pages of facts. People were angry. People went there. And I'll tell you what, they never show that. The primary scene in Washington was hundreds of thousands, the largest group of people I've ever spoken before. And I've spoken before.
So, again, his plan is just lie. I'm just going to lie. He's, I think the election was crooked. He's still denying that he lost 2020. He's still denying he lost 2020. He can't help himself. And it's like, you have to attack him on that point. because he's just wrong. The guy brought up the court cases, but it goes beyond the court cases. Right? I mean, they did the fucking audit in Arizona, and they said, when we do this audit, it's going to prove that Donald Trump won because Arizona, for sure, he won. Then they did the audit, and not only did Biden win, he won by more than what we thought he won by on Election Day. So his votes were undercounted, right? So it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
And it was love and peace. And some people went to the Capitol. And a lot of strange things happened there. A lot of strange things with people being waved into the Capitol by police, with people screaming, go in, with that never got into trouble, you know?
Oh, my God, bro. So that now he's doing the deep state did it. And maybe there's a hint there, too, of like it was the left, Antifa did it to make MAGA look bad. But you can't say like they're substantively right, and I agree with what they did, but also they're Antifa and left-wingers in the deep state, and it's bad. It's either good or it's bad. You can't say it's both good and bad, right? Like,
I don't want to mention names, but you know who they are. A lot of strange things happened. But you had a peaceful, very peaceful. I left the morning that I was supposed to leave. I went to Florida, and you had a very peaceful transfer. This was not and I'll tell you what, those people that did go dead, which was a tiny fraction of the people that went to Washington. I mean, you're talking about a very, very small, because hundreds of thousands of people, and I don't know what you had, 500, 600, 700 people go down to the Capitol. But those people, that was not one of those people had a gun.
Oh my God.
Nobody was killed.
He knows that's not true. He knows that's not true. He said, don't make them go through the metal detectors because they're not here to hurt me. We know this.
Except for Ashley Babbitt. She was killed. She was killed. She was shot in the head by a policeman that what he did was horrible.
President Trump,
so I think we should be allowed to disagree on that. And obviously you see by the reaction in this room, there's a lot of other people that disagree.
Wow. Wow. Look, he's broadcasting it. He's broadcasting it. He's lying about the election. He knows he lost. He's saying he didn't lose. He's going to do it again. I don't know why we're all acting like this is fucking normal. I do not know why we're acting like this is normal. We are so far away from normal that you can't even see it in the rearview mirror. What are we doing here, bro? Nobody in good faith could vote for this guy. I'm sorry, it's true. Nobody in good faith could vote for this guy. You just can't do it. 2016 was a different story. 2020, he was worse than 2016. But, you know, standard Republican nonsense, sure, many voted for him. In 2024, people are right to call you a cult. This is the thing people haven't really grappled with or reckoned with yet. The resistance liberals were right. Like, they were just right. They were right. The harshest criticisms levied against Trump on stuff like this, they were right. They were right. And here we are, back in the exact same position. It's totally unacceptable. And this guy, he tried his best to fight with Trump, but I mean, it really goes to show you how fruitless Trump interviews could be, because he's just going to ramble and filibuster and repeat his same talking points 1,000 times. And like, you never actually come out of it, even with an interviewer who is being adversarial. You'll never really come out of it with like, he's 100% wrong, here are the facts on it, and he's lying. You don't walk away with that. You walk away thinking, you know, oh, 50-50, or it's, you know, hey, he believes this, other people believe the opposite. What are you going to do? No, these things aren't debatable. He lost the election. He didn't concede. He tried to do a coup and failed. And he's broadcasting he's not going to accept it again. Again, why are we acting like this is normal? Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.